presentations tonight. So our third will be equally wonderful. This is Laura Elizabeth. Laura's journey or inspiration for her series is Stefusky Island. She went there the first time many years ago. I believe it was in April with her family and her son. They were boarding the ferry to get to the island, and her son knowingly looked at her and said, I don't think this is going to be the first time or the last time that we're going to be here in this exact spot. And as it turns out, through many family vacations, many adventures, they all really finally adopted that island as a source of inspiration, of magic, a pull towards experiencing your dreams. I'm really excited to hear more about her story. I know that in 2020, she collaborated or really made it her mission to connect with people from around the world to get together with some renovation projects, restoration projects on the island. And through those people and her family, they all kind of encouraged her to write these stories. So, welcome, Laura Elizabeth.
Thank you so much. What a thrill to be here tonight and going to draft our voting things. Thank you. So we're doing things a little differently for this presentation if we have your participation. First, I want to tell you just a smidgy about my book, and we had a little bit about the introduction, how it all happened. It wasn't supposed to be a book. I did that pro bono project, and it was a labor of love. We went in 2008 to Stefusky Island, and we weren't even supposed to be there. We were supposed to be going to the Grand Canyon, and found out that someone wasn't going to be able to watch our dogs. Long story short, we did what every family does. We Googled where could we go on a vacation that we could take our pets. And we ended up on an island that we had never heard of, didn't know anything about, and didn't even know if we were pronouncing it correctly. Ended up on Stefusky Island and fell in love with the island. Ended up buying property there. We were going to build our dream house, and the inn that we stayed at went bankrupt. And so there went all the plans for the future, but we still vacationed there. And in 2020, through multiple bankruptcies, I just started this pro bono project and ended up connecting people to invest in the island. And through all of that, someone said, write a book about your passion project. Just write it. Write this book. And I thought, well, I don't really want to write a book. But he said, talk to these publishers. I talked to the publishers, and he said, one publisher in particular said, don't write that book. And I thought, I knew I didn't want to write the book, so he said, write in a genre that you read a lot, which was mysteries. And so I wrote All Is Now Lost, and he decided to publish it. It is a part of a series. He would like it to be 8 books. I'm writing book 3 right now, but it is a cozy mystery, and that means the amateur sleuth, the protagonist who's on the cover, solves the crime. So ultimately, the stories are a love letter to the island. What do I love about it? It's the sense of community, about finding home, about starting over your life where you have a set pattern of what your life is supposed to be, and all of a sudden you're veering off. And in this case, the protagonist is solving mysteries, but in many cases, it's writing a book and starting a new chapter in your life. So people ask, if you have a story in your heart, what should you do with it? And I say, write the book, do the project, sell the business, do whatever it is that's in your heart. Maybe no one will buy it, maybe no one will be interested in it, but do it for you. And who else enjoys it, it's just bonus. And so I've been very fortunate that my books have been turned into murder mystery dinner productions. The first one, All Is Now Lost, has been turned into productions where theater companies come in and have done shows, and they've sold out. And then book 2 had A Special Kind of Heartache, which we're going to talk about tonight, has had that as well. And so that gave me the idea to do this interactive murder mystery theater productions, because we don't always have a cast and we don't always have a set, but we like to tell the story through people kind of reading these scripts. So tonight depends on if you would like to participate. We have the scripts that we can read. Do we have anyone who would be interested in doing this? The story is divided into 4 parts. There's just a couple little lines that people will read, and we tell the story of Special Kind of Heartache, which essentially is a girls' trip on the island that goes awry. And so someone dies, and the protagonist solves a mystery, and then we will do it here to figure out who's the criminal. So if we have audience participation, we can do that. If not, I can tell you a little bit more about my writing journey. Up to you. Do we have any takers? Come on up. So let me tell you a little bit about this. So thank you. Thank you for doing it. We need a couple of different people. Each one of these little sets, there's 4, like I said.
There's the first one. Stairs are over here. Please be safe.
Hi.
So let me tell you a little bit about it.
Let me hand you this so you can at least have 2 microphones.
Okay, so to begin with, the background of the story is the protagonist, the amateur sleuth's name is Carr Jepson. So Carr and her friend Barb are enjoying their usual island life. One of Barb's renters, she manages properties on the island, reaches out for help. One of the members of her girls' trip is missing. Carrie is soon found on the beach, dead. Carrie's dead. So that is not a spoiler. And no one's gonna die here tonight. So you're safe. So that is not a spoiler. The community rallies, and Carr is once again Mungeon Island's amateur sleuth. So she's our protagonist. The investigation takes Carr and Barb to the mainland, where they meet Galena and learn more about Charles, Carrie's new love interest. Back on the island, they meet Charles. Something seems a little off. Mary Frances, Annabelle, and Tracy, who are her friends, Carrie's friends, provide more information about Carrie. But do they share all that they know? And why is Tracy so upset? Our story picks up where Carr, Deputy Julie, and Barb are catching up on their progress. Let's see what the amateur sleuth is up to. So in scene 1, we have, they're in the bookstore. So Carr Jepson has moved to the island and owns a bookstore. And the bookstore also sells tea. So they're in this indie bookstore. These people may not be here the whole time. So, yeah. You're safe. You're not going to die. It's up to them. So we have Carr. We need one person who's going to be Carr. We need Barb, who's going to be her friend. And we need Julie right now. But if we have 4 people, so someone can hold and stay up here, because we're going to need a 4th at one point. Okay.
Because Charles is kind of the suspect.
All right. So who's going to be Carr? Who's going to be Carr? You'll be Carr. That's your script, and your parts are highlighted. Who wants to be Barb? She's her friend. And you can be the police, Deputy Julie. Go to scene 1. Next one. There you go. So your parts are highlighted. Take it away.
He met the restaurant manager. He remembered Charles and Carrie. Seemed like all was well. They were laughing and talking. A good first date. Nothing out of the ordinary, just another sunny day on the mainland.
When we mentioned that Carrie met with someone else after the date, he shared the security camera footage. We saw Carrie greet a woman. Together, they walked into this cool coffee shop across the way.
Ah, the Half Hitch. I love that place. They always are so busy. Seems like it's the place people want to be.
Yes, and we had Carrie's picture and the screenshot of the woman on the security footage that manager gave us. The barista recognized the other woman right away, and a pseudo-regular named Galena. She supposedly meets her clients at the coffee shop. She does resumes and career counseling. Not sure why Carrie was meeting with her though.
By all accounts, their meeting was brief. The coffee shop is filled with vibes, and those vibes were off.
As far as we know, Charles may have been the last person to see her alive, but that does not necessarily mean he poisoned her as their failed breakfast date, right? So they had this lunch date and then got together the next day for a quick breakfast that ended up badly, according to Charles. He admitted this. Oh.
A foreign account? What ties does Carrie have to a foreign company? No one has mentioned anything like that. This is very intriguing. Until we know otherwise, I think we should focus on knowing more about Galena, Charles, and I hate to say this, but Carrie's friends too.
You're on the next page.
Keep in mind, random crimes where the victim and the suspect are strangers, well, they're actually pretty rare. I just want to make sure you understand the potential for Carrie to have ingested rosary pea given to her by a stranger is statistically almost non-existent.
I don't like where this is headed.
So, thank you. So before we go on, what has happened so far is they're regrouping. Deputy Julie is saying what has happened so far. And what's happened is the son, Carrie has died. She's ingested rosary pea, which is actually a real poison. Rosary pea grows prolifically in the southeast. And so she's dead. They're trying to figure out what this foreign account is about, what's happening here. Is it Charles, the love interest? Is it one of her friends? Or is it this Galena? That's what's happening. They're trying to figure this out now. They've gone to the coffee shop, they've gone to the Hacknage, they've gone to all these different places. So now in scene 2, where we need just Charles. Lucky Charles? Okay. I have to ask. So, and then we just need Carr for this part. So Charles, take it away. Charles is the love interest of Carrie. C2.
You're saying someone gave her some kind of poison? This was done to her? Versus her eating or drinking or touching something accidentally?
Yes, we believe this to be true. We believe this to be intentional, given the amount of specific type of poison. Based on the preliminary medical reports, she ingested this after her arrival to Morgan.
And so, what did you want to talk to me about? I've told you everything I know about her. What more do you want from me?
Tell me about your lunch date. Tell me if Carrie checked her phone while you were eating. Did she leave the table during your meal? I also would like to know more about the few minutes before and after Carrie decided your breakfast date was over. Did you see where she walked to? How did she get there?
The only time she touched her phone was when we first sat down at the table. She texted someone and then moved her phone into her bag. But since you already saw her messages and have her phone, you know more about that than I do. I assume she was texting her friends to tell them I wasn't a creep or to tell them she had arrived safely, something like that. I don't really think much about it.
Hold up. I didn't ask if she texted anyone. I was asking if she was checking her phone, looking for messages, maybe about her meeting after your lunch. Funny enough, that text you say she sent, it wasn't on her phone.
The whole breakfast probably lasted 30 minutes. It took me longer to get there than the time we spent together. And you know well, that made me mad. I had to take the I had to take the ferry ride to the beach, only to have her, well, reject me. She certainly acted just like so many girls before her, hot and cold. I'm not proud of it, but I was mad and embarrassed. After I cooled down, I tried to reach Carrie, and then, well, the rest is history. I saw you and you told me all that happened. That's all I know.
Well, the ferry captain confirms that you were on the boat, as you say, but you definitely weren't making any friends while you were traveling. I know you may have been annoyed or angry, but it seems like people are almost describing a mini temper tantrum. Can I ask you why you had this strong kind of reaction?
You have no idea what you're talking about.
Ooh, shots fired.
What me?
Yeah.
Oh, that was there.
Yeah. So here we're trying to figure out what does Charles know. So they had their lunch date, next day they had their breakfast date. She rejected him. Why? So then she's found dead. So is Charles the suspect? We don't know. So now we're going to move on to scene 3. We need 5 people. So is there anyone else who wants to participate? Or does somebody want to one? We need one. It could be a cute girl. So we need Carr, we have Barb, we need her 3 friends, Tracy, Annabelle, and Mary Frances.
You go.
Yeah, so you want me Tracy?
You want that highlighted? Is it easier to find?
Anybody else? Oh, I'm wrong. You're Barb, and Annabelle.
You have Barb.
Well, now you're Mary Frances. So they're at the cottage right now. They're at the cottage where these, was 4 people, but now it's only 3 people staying out on the resort property, and they're trying to, we're in scene 3, trying to ask her friends what's going on. It's Barb and Carr trying to investigate just a little bit more. The scene opens with Carr.
Julie said she has been updating you, right?
Please do not tell us any more about the rosary key. It's all we've heard, all we've read about. I'm sick of it all.
Julie told us about Charles. Sounds like Carrie really liked him. Maybe he could have been, the one.
I should have done more, or maybe really I should have done less. Maybe I should have kept my mouth shut.
Tracy, I need to know why you have Carrie's computer password.
She has all of our passwords. She's our official tech support.
So then I have to ask, why didn't you tell us more about what was on Carrie's computer? Didn't you read her messages? Weren't you curious when she was missing?
Read our messages? We all said that we would never ask Tracy to snoop around on each other. We all make that promise. It is hands off unless we ask her for that help.
I've always been interested in computers and technology. I help them when they need it. As promise is a promise. I gave them my word. I didn't know Carrie was dead. What if she came back and I stuck my nose in all her business? She would have never forgiven me.
After lunch with Charles on Monday, Carrie had an appointment to meet a woman at a coffee shop nearby. Supposedly, Carrie used to work with her years ago. I know you all don't work for the same company, so this is probably pretty unlikely for you to know a former colleague of Carrie's, but did she ever mention a woman named Galena?
Are you trying to tell us that we are to believe that Carrie saw Galena George on Monday?
Galena, yes. Galena George, you've met her. You know her.
What did Galena tell you?
To be honest, she didn't tell us much. How do you know her?
Why do you think she was meeting with Carrie?
Galena and Carrie used to work together. Yes, that's true. Years ago, they had some disagreements, but we don't really know anything else.
Mary Frances, I think we all know you know more than that. Please, anything you share could help us get to the bottom of this. Where are the friends at one time?
No, not hardly. They absolutely were not friends.
Carrie ended up changing jobs. She left that company. Things got so bad between them that she left. Galena had an axe to grind with Carrie, and you might think her grievances were entirely justified. I thought we had heard the last of Galena George a long, long time ago.
Grievances about what?
We don't know the full story. We only know Carrie's side of things, and of course, as her friends, we believed her.
This can't hurt Carrie anymore, Mary Frances. Her pain, her heartache, it's over.
Carrie was in a relationship with Andrew George, Galena's husband.
Carrie was in a romantic relationship with Galena's husband?
She was so inexperienced and young for her age. He absolutely should have known better. He hunted her down.
Wait a minute. They all worked together? Andrew George worked at the same company?
We told her this guy had no intention of leaving his wife, no matter what he said. He wasn't going anywhere. It was all the classic things cheaters always say. Andrew said that the marriage was over, that they just had to, quote, go through the paperwork. But it was going to take time. He and Galena supposedly lived separate lives.
The thing with Charles was that first time she had been serious about dating, but I guess intentionally about it all, and she got all head over heels again.
I'm going to try to get Galena here tomorrow. If that happens, I know I will have things to discuss with her after that. You two can confirm what she says and all. Would you be willing to stay a little longer tomorrow?
I'm anxious to get home, and we've been hanging out here hoping to help, but I don't think we did much. There are arrangements back home to attend to. Carrie's mom needs us, but a few more hours won't swing things too much, so we can do it.
Okay, so we're gonna break here, and I'm gonna just keep on handing these out to everyone. Everyone can vote on who they think did it, and then you can just leave them on my table. And if you're right, we will. I have a prize for you if you guess who you think it is. And just give them a minute while we're setting up. We're gonna need a card, Lena, Julie, and Tracy.
Yes, he doesn't want one.
We got a car still. I'll go back to Julie. And how about Tracy?
I get Tracy.
Her table, I don't know.
All right, has everyone had a chance to vote?
I'll put your name on the top. Oh, I'll put it.
Just the highlights. This is just the highlights of the book. I mean, because the book, their actual real production takes about maybe an hour. Okay, yes. It's a teaser. We're gonna gather them really quick. Okay, all right, so we can begin.
Galena, thank you for the time we had together today. I know you didn't have to come to Manjin. You didn't have to answer my questions. Remember, Barb told you that we were working on a project of a different kind. I need your help to finish our work. This won't take long, but
What help can I provide? I don't know your project, your work. I barely know you. I answered everything you asked yesterday when you bumped into me at the half hitch. I don't know.
not everything. I haven't asked everything yet. Here's what I think. For someone I never met before yesterday, I spent a lot of time and energy trying to understand you and what I think you did. And in this case, I think your husband Andrew got involved with his associate, Miguel. Woohoo, need them glasses. Miguel.
It's a typo.
Oh, okay. See, there you go. Miguel. With his associate Miguel after you met in Cancun, right?
Yes, we met on that trip. They both have an entrepreneurial spirit. They clicked right away.
Miguel, as it turns out, is quite the entrepreneur, but unfortunately, his biggest venture seems to be an illegal one. His recent arrest must have been very disturbing for you and Andrew, considering the plans for the future and all. It made the Atlanta newspapers and now the national media. The word is out.
Well, we had no idea about that side of Miguel. Andrew just wanted to invest in his business and help with the cost of housing his staff, which were all Miguel's relatives and family friends. That's it. That's all there was.
That's not true, but you know it. The real estate investment, it wasn't for Miguel's struggling family, it was for drug trafficking. Right there in the middle of just a regular old neighborhood. It was hiding in plain sight. Andrew knew, and maybe you both did, and Carrie must have known, or at least you thought she did. That's what this is all about. It started with the payments to Carrie, month after month, year after year. Hush money, you bought her silence. She's a talker. She's a talker.
She's got a lot to say.
Galena, I think you knew very well Andrew was paying Carrie to stay silent on all she learned about Miguel Rosa. For years, that was your arrangement, but with his recent arrest, the news stories, and the unwanted publicity, Carrie was a risk you weren't willing to tolerate. You needed to get rid of people who knew the full story. Did Andrew tell you to eliminate her, or was this your decision?
I have nothing more to say to you. I want
you to show up here near the dune grass. Come this way. Tracy, Galena is going to tell us now what happened, how it happened, right?
Galena, what did you do?
Tracy, we learned that Andrew was fired from his role at the company where they all worked, Carrie, Galena, and Andrew. And as it turns out, Andrew decided he may want a career in politics. So he has been working with a campaign strategist and fundraiser here on the mainland. Andrew and Carrie got involved in the investment deal with someone who would ultimately be arrested as a drug ringleader. Maybe Carrie had no idea.
Carrie was involved in a drug ring? What are you saying? That's just not possible. I will not stand here and listen to this garbage.
Carrie did not know. She didn't know about Miguel. She just thought she was helping to find his relatives and friends a home. Carrie did what Andrew wanted. She did it, and he paid her for her help. Eventually, I think she sensed something didn't add up in Andrew's story. She was smart. We all knew that. But still, she knew about Miguel and Andrew. She knew too much. And that was a problem. A big problem.
So you placed your coffee order on your phone app once you and Carrie met by the captain's deck? Your name was on Carrie's cup because you ordered the drinks. We found Carrie's cup on the resort property. That's how I knew. I knew it was you. You ordered her drink and then you slipped in the seed of the rosary pea. It's your ring, right? I noticed a small hinge on the top, read about the rings like this, but never saw the poison ring in real life. That's what it is, right?
This is a family heirloom. I knew it would work because it was just the right size for the amount of rosemary peel needed. All I had to do was open the top and tap it into her drink. Honestly, I could hardly believe how easy it was. One tap and there it was. No one knew my secret. Carrie's mom was only too happy to help arrange our meeting. I told her I needed to verify some information for a company payout that had not been properly processed. It was an added plus that she was going to be here on the island. I didn't know that at first, but it seemed like it was fate. She told me that Carrie was going to the Low Country for vacation, and I shared that I was too. That's when she really started talking. Fate, right?
You're a monster. Horrible woman. You took advantage of her and of Carrie. You're even worse than I remember.
Once she called me back with the date and time, I knew what I was going to do. Rosemary pea grows wildly in the open land on the side of the road, not far from where we live. Made it all so easy to find what I needed. No one batted an eye with me cutting off a few pods. No one even noticed.
Galena, you thought you could just set these wheels in motion and Carrie would die here? Did you think we would not solve this? How did you think this would end?
Carrie was curious, and it probably was the only reason she agreed to meet me. She probably thought there was some news about Andrew. It was all so easy. Everything went as planned. I knew when you told me that Carrie had been ill. It was likely all over, but you didn't tell me she was dead. That's what I came for today. I wanted to know if Carrie would finally be out of our way.
So you just thought she would die here. Did you think we would want to know what happened to her?
I knew you would want to know, but did I think you would be able to figure it out? No, of course not. I thought she would be sick here on the island. With no hospital, there would be no antidote. I thought she would pass during the night of what would look like an exotic virus or some weird illness, and essentially that would be that.
All of it is a special kind of heartache. It's the loss of what could be, what should be. It wasn't Carrie's fault, but yet she paid for trusting the wrong person and then not being able to live with it. Her decision made us all lose. All of us have a special heartache to bear.
Lena, I am Jeopardy Julie, and you're under arrest for the death of Carrie Nichols.
Bits and pieces of the story. Thank you so much. And really just the idea of how a story can kind of come together. Mystery has a lot of moving parts to it. You heard about a drug lord, you heard about a real estate deal, you heard about different people in and out of her life, which we're not going to be able to cover in 35 minutes here. But really, ultimately, these stories, both of them in the Island Mystery series, are about building community. And you can tell in the story about how the island rallies around the participants. And really, it's what I really love about this place is that what I call island magic, where it's really the strength of the community that keeps it going. It's a bridgeless island. There's no grocery store, you ride around in a golf cart, you need your neighbors in order to build a life there, and that's ultimately what these stories are about. So we built community tonight, which doing our play together, and that runs parallel to this story. So I thank you so much. I'm dropping everything tonight. So thank you all, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have about the writing process or anything else, but if not, I'll be at the back table ready to answer questions then.
Any questions? It was such a great performance.
And Laura, I just want to thank you so much for putting this together. It was wasn't it fun? Yeah. And I love the actors, very brave to get out there in front. And we had a small actor over there who wanted to get up there. So maybe next time. Yes. So loved it. So Laura, let me ask you a question before you get off the stage. As I asked Melinda, is there anything else that you'd like us to know about what you're doing now, what's upcoming? What would you like to tell us?
So, to some of the points that I made earlier, when you write a book, it's like really just the beginning of the journey. You find out quickly that you end up having to be a small business person, marketing, entrepreneur. I've done all types of podcasts, book events, book fairs, the murder mystery productions. I'm always looking for ways to really spread the production. So the scripts are being shot now. So ultimately, you could witness something that you may see, who knows, someday maybe on Netflix or something else. But it's just been a lot of fun. The journey has been incredible, where it started and where it is right now. So ultimately, I'd just like to encourage you to lean into what's in your heart to follow your passion project. Yes.
Well, and I was going to say, I can't think of Defusky Island and not think of Pat Conroy in his very first book, The Water is Wide, which he teaches in Defusky Island, and there's children don't even know what an island is, etc. So I have also vacationed on Defusky Island, and it's beautiful, but I do like give homage to him because he like opened it up to all of our eyes.
So it's funny that you mentioned that, because one of the things that's come out of this journey is I was approached by somebody probably 2 years ago who asked about going to the island, and I said, sure, I'll bring you to the island, and we arranged a tour, and she brought like 14 or 15 people with her, and it started this whole secondary business now. So like now I do these island tours with people, and bringing people to the school where Pat Conroy taught is one of the stops on this tour. And Pat Conroy taught at what's called Merrifield School in the 60s, and it's a very small little 2-room schoolhouse, and now it's a coffee shop, and so it's called School Ground Coffee, and where the coffee shop is, that part is actually what was the lunchroom for the children. And Sally Ann Robinson is a resident of Defusky and Savannah, but she is a descendant of the Bella people, and she is one of Pat Conroy's students. So Sally Ann and I have done quite a few events together, and she just has wonderful memories of Pat. And he did a lot to bring.
He educated a lot of those students. He paid for their college.
They had no idea, about that, even that there was planets in the solar system, and who the president was, and that really wasn't that long ago that people just did not have access to public education. There are still people on the island who are negative and Long Island. So it's just the dichotomy of who lives there. It's not homogenous. There are some extremely wealthy people who live there. There are celebrities that live there, and then there are people without running water or electricity. So, but somehow everyone manages to live in harmony. So, you're only 30 minutes away from the mainland, but you could be hours away, because unless you have access to public transportation, you are dependent on your community. And so that really brings a different type of living than what most people are used to.
And Laura, you may have mentioned this, but you had them vote on who
Yes.
was the murderer. What are you doing next with
So
that?
now I'm just going to see who voted correctly on the tabs, and then I have a prize we'll have a little raffle, and that's what I'm doing.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.